So if you want to get comfortable while we wait for a minute to start, we will start on our back, nice and comfy, and then we slowly make our way up. So it's more drill-wise rather than flow-wise. So we just try different things, working on the hips, working on the legs, and then we will have a nice cool down. So either Baddha Konasana, Shavasana, constructive rest, whichever you feel like. So I'm just going to come into constructive rest because later on there's a lot going on in the hips here, so maybe it feels more comfortable. Or if you prefer to get in towards the external rotation of the hips, butterfly is absolutely fine. So whichever position, get comfortable, grounding, calming, and then bringing all your senses together, your body, your breath, and your mind. Morning, needy. So we're starting on our back here. So have your blocks. If you got weights, if you don't have weights, we're just going to use it for one of the poses. You can get something heavy like a big bulk that you can put on towards your pelvis, belly, just to give a bit of weighted, because we want to do some hip strengthening. So it doesn't matter if you don't have weights. If you got like a heavy block, like using the cock block, those are heavy enough, that's absolutely fine. So just take your time, get settled on your mat. You can start in Shavasana, constructive rest, where your feet are wide, knees drop in together, or butterfly, feet together, knees are wide. So we're taking a few moments here just to quieten down. Notice how your body feels, especially noting your hips and your legs. You can place a palm on your belly, one palm on your chest, or you can have it by the side, whichever feels comfortable. And then just slowly come to your breath here. Inhale, and then maybe exhale this time through your mouth. Let your body, your lower back sink. Let your thighs fall deeper if you're in butterfly. And then you can close your mouth and start inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Just feeling calmness wash over your body. Just feeling gratitude, appreciation for yourself, showing up here on the mat. So if you've got straight legs, start bringing your feet up, bending the knees. If you're in butterfly or constructive rest, you're just going to take your legs out wide and let's windshield wiper so arms can come to a T. Let's drop the knees over to the right. Moving with your breath, inhale, knees back to center, up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, knees over to the left. So a few times here, as many as you wish, as we start moving in towards the hips. We're going to warm it up. We're going to strengthen. We're going to mobilize it. So all of that above, and of course working into our legs here. And then we'll be back down onto our back. So let's finish your last set here, and we'll all meet over on the right side. So allow your knees to come back to center first, and then knees drop to the right. Maybe look over to the left for this gentle spinal twist here. Breathing in towards the left side. And then inhale, knees back to center, over to the left. Look over towards the right. So notice the right knee here in internal rotation. Don't have to force, just go where you can. You may be far from the mat, doesn't matter as long as you feel that nice rotation inwards. And then inhale, slowly come back to center. Bring your thighs in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze and hug. Press your sacrum, lower back is flat on the ground. And then gently rock side to side. Just massaging your lower back here. Now slowly release the left leg long, interlock a finger on top of your right knee or shin, and then give that leg a squeeze in towards your chest, flex into your both feet, and then make some hip circles here gently, few rounds, one direction. And then changing directions here, just moving in towards the hips. Now gently rebend the left leg, place the left foot down as you cross your right ankle on top of the left knee. Either gently push the right thigh away using your right hand, or you can thread your arm through to catch hold at the back of your thigh or the front of the shin, just working and opening in towards the right hip here. Couple of breaths here as you gently coax the right thigh to open more away from you as you squeeze the left thigh in. If you are treading and holding on to your shin or your thigh, if you got your foot down, just gently press the right thigh a bit more away. And then gently, if you've got your foot off, allow the left foot to drop back down. And then on your exhale, let the right foot drop to the left, arms back towards a T. In this, another version of a spinal twist. Kept pushing the right knee, right thigh away. Feel the lengthening here on the right side. Your right belly, the chest is open up towards the ceiling. Just one breath here. And then slowly on your inhale, bring your left knee back up. And then allow the right knee to drop over to the left in this open twist. Look over to the left. So thighs, knees towards the right. So maybe your left knee is really high, doesn't matter. Your right knee is aiming towards the floor. Again, you can hover. And then slowly inhale, bring it back through center. Release your right ankle down. And then bring the left knee up, interlock on top of the knee or the shin, and then straighten out your right leg long along your mat here. Flex into your both feet as you squeeze the left thigh in. So hips, body square towards the ceiling as you give it a squeeze. And then start making hip circles here, rotating out that hip joint. So few rounds this way. And then we're changing direction, opposite direction. Start lubricating, moving out the hip joint here. And then on your next inhale, come back to center, rebend your right knee, and then allow your left ankle to cross on top of the right, either staying here with the left palm pressing against the left thigh away. Right arm can come to a T if that's comfortable. Or if you wish to thread, then take the arms through, catch hold behind of your thigh or the top of the shin again. Keep flexing into both feet if you're going for this version. Squeeze the right thigh away, push the left thigh away from you. Breathe into that left IT band, left outer hip here. So make sure here as you're in this pose that your sacrum, your lower back is flat, all the way pressing onto the mat. If you got it up here, your right thigh, exhale to release your grip. Let the right foot touch back down and then exhale, left foot goes over towards the right side. Knee pointing up, right palm can press the left thigh away and then left arm can come to shoulder level in towards a T shape. Just one breath here. Notice the length here. Just a gentle spinal twist. Feel your pecs opening up along your left arm down towards your left armpit. And then inhale, bring the left knee back towards center and then exhale, let the left knee drop out. Right arm can extend if you look over to the right. Fingertips if it's comfortable for your neck here. Breathe into the right side this time. And then slowly inhale, bring your legs back to center. Release your feet nice and wide. Let's windshield wiper one more time on each side. So knees drop to either side. And then bring it over to the opposite side. Now bring the legs back up, knees vertical. Walk your feet in towards your glutes. Keep the feet hips width. Keep the thighs parallel, ankle, feet parallel. And then this is where we're going to use the weights, but let's warm up the hips here in your bridge pose first. So keep your palms pressing down next towards your hips. And then on the inhale, press in towards your feet. Lift up your hips however much. So maybe it's slightly down on this a first one, doesn't matter. And then exhale, gently roll down through your upper back, middle back, lower, and then finally the sacrum and the pelvis lowers. So 2 more times like this. Inhale, lift up your hip for your bridge pose. Maybe second time a bit higher. Exhale, gently lower the hips. Be the last one to touch down. One last time. Inhale, just roll it up purposefully. So rather than just lifting everything, you're lifting vertebrae by vertebrae. And then exhale, gently release again, vertebrae by vertebrae, and the hips will be the last to touch down. Now take your weights or blocks or anything weighted. You can just use 2 blocks. If you've got your weights, you're just going to place it on the hip crease here, giving a bit of strengthening here in bridge pose. So if there's ever any time that you need to use weights or want to strengthen, bridge pose is the best. It strengthens your hips, your lower back. So inhale, lifting up the hips, activate your glutes. Really press down onto your feet. Squeeze that thighs in towards your midline like you've got an imaginary block in between. And then exhale, gently release it back down. So we're doing 3 times in total, so 2 more times. Inhale, moving with your breath. Lift up higher. Exhale, gently release it down. So you can still do this without weights, just an addition of strengthening. If you don't have weights, you're just doing it up and down. You're just doing 6 times in total. It's still strengthening as you're using your own body weight here. So one last time, inhale to lift. We're holding here a bit longer for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, gently release all the way down. If you got your weights, just remove it to one side, hug your thighs in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice roll around here, massaging your lower back. Let's come out however you want, either knees drop to the side or you can roll up, coming in towards a comfortable sit. Let's warm up the rest of the body here before we come out and start doing more drills for our hips here. So on your next inhale, arms over your head. Let's stretch over. Just keep the body moving as we warm up our upper body here, because most of it today will be the lower body. So let's inhale, moving with your breath over to the left side. 2 more times like this, moving with your breath. Stretching, deepening if you got the space. Again, listen to your body. If maybe you feel tight, then be gentle here on yourself. And then we will twist, and then we will start our first drill with the hips here. And then finishing off this time, left palm reaches right knee, right palm behind for a gentle twist here. Sitting upright, lifting as tall as you can. And then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, twist over to the opposite side. Nice deep breath here. Now slowly inhale, come back through center. This time exhale, you're going to lower your palms on top of your knees. So rather than doing our big circle, we're going to fall down first here. Getting your chest as low as you can while still gluing your sit bones down. So maybe you're still quite high, but this is the height you're going to be. You're going to start to circle now. Really small circle. So you're going to feel this in the hips, in towards the lower back here. So not as big as we usually do. So it's like a sneaky one. So you're just moving your chest from calf to calf or knee to knee. And then changing the next direction here. So don't lift up too high. You're just lifting maybe 1 or 2 inches away from where you were at your lowest point here. So you can feel the maximum release on your lower back, the hips here. And then finishing your last round, coming back up. Lean slightly back, press the palms down and just pop your chest forward to release that fold. And then slowly walk yourself back up. Let's change the cross of your legs here, the opposite way, which is our less favorite usually. So inhale, lifting up tall. Exhale, we're going to fold again. Get to your lowest height here. So you can have your hands in front or hands on your knees already, helping yourself to get low. So you're going to feel quite different on this side. And then you're going to start making the circles again. So on this side, I feel less on my lower back, much more on the hips here. So notice the difference because the cross of the legs will change things quite differently, again, depending on our hips. So some of us got really wider hips, some of us don't. So let's change direction here. And it's also depending on the socket itself, how big your hip bone, how flat is your femur bone, your femur head. So it really changes for everybody. So once you finish your last round, come back to center, roll back again, palms behind, doesn't matter where your fingers face, as long as it's comfortable for your wrist. And then inhale, squeeze the shoulder blade, drop your head back, puff up the chest. Now slowly coming back up, you're going to free up the leg. Keep the feet about hips width or wider again. Hands come back behind you. Again, you can face it forward, side or back. Again, it depends on each wrist and your shoulders. So once you're happy, again, bring the thighs in parallel like you did with bridge pose. Lift up the hips, coming into reverse tabletop, nice and slow. Keep the whole body flat here. Maybe look up, or if it's comfortable, you can throw your neck back. But again, depending on your neck, or you can look forward. Now exhale, gently release your hips back down. Walk your feet nice and wide, and let's drop side to side again in this windshield wiper. We'll come over to the right side, starting our first drill. So maybe slide the right leg forward, coming in towards, they call it pinwheel or deer. So you have the option to have the knee close to your right heel. You can take it further back. Again, it depends on this hip, how comfortable it is for this knee. So we seldom sit in this pose, so the internal rotation will feel weird. So it always feels weird for me on the right side, less so on the left. So we're going to sit up nice and tall, maybe fingertips on the side. If you can't reach it, you can have the blocks here to support you to lift, and then slowly you're going to lean forward. So you're going to start filling into that right hip here. You can increase intensity by lifting your fingers away. You can increase it some more with the arms over the head. So everything about arms over the head really takes it deeper. So there, I could feel it, not even need to go further in towards the fold here. So you should feel that right hip activating. If it's too much, you can come back with the hands in front. Make sure you're flexing in towards the right foot here. So you're trying to square your body in line with your shin. Again, however many times, the more you do, the more you strengthen in towards that right hip here. And then finally, if you have enough, slowly lower down to feel that stretch in that right hip here. So it doesn't matter where you are. You may feel comfortable to have a block underneath to support rather than having your weight, so you can find the height. You can even have the elbows here to give you the support if the right hip is screaming at you. So all this is really good as we age. You hear hip replacement, people fall, and then the hip socket sort of goes out, or you break your hip. All this is to protect all and get our muscles, not just the muscles, but the connective tissue, strengthen your ligaments and your tendons here. So there are lots of things going around, muscles crisscrossing everywhere around the hip, just not about the hip muscles themselves, your glutes itself. So one more breath here. And then slowly we're going to come up. We're going to change sides. So it's up to you how you want to. You can just bring your legs over and change it. If you want to strengthen a bit of the core, you're just going to lift up the left leg, kick it in front of you. Right leg's going to join, and then you come into a boat pose. So working into your core here. And then you're just going to drop the left leg, swing the right leg behind you, coming into the same position but on the opposite side. So it's up to you. So you can add, deduct, again, depending on how you feel. So make sure this is up to you. You can go into deer, you can come a bit into pinwheel, or you can take all the way back in towards a 90-90. So that is the most heaviest pose most likely. So maybe if you want, you can start in there as long as it's comfortable for your knee. So square off your chest towards the front, and then again, you're going to start. We start with fingertips down, just checking how the hip feel. So for me, left hip feels less, my right hip socket doesn't like it. So I don't know what's going on. It's just lopsided. We're built the way we are. We can't change. So you work within your own boundaries. So make sure the front foot is flexed. So maybe after a few rounds, you feel like the body is like, okay, you may go deeper. Then just go deeper. You can release your hands. You can go crazy overhead, or you can go crazy, hold a block between, so you're going to sandwich it, and you go down, you can immediately feel that. So I'm just going to be easy on myself today, just because. There's no reason. You don't have to explain to anybody. You just have to explain to yourself. If you're happy, whatever you're doing, go ahead. So a few more rounds, and then we're just going to fold and release in towards the hip. You're going to feel into that. So make sure you notice your shoulders is square, exactly parallel to the front. And just lower ever you wish. You can have the elbow on the block if you so prefer. And just a few breaths here, and then we'll go back to the opposite side. And we're going to start moving the rest of the body, build up some heat, and then we'll come back to more drills. So Magdalene, who's been doing with me for a while, she knows we're going to come into that 90-90 eventually. We have no choice. Last week we did. So this week again, we're going to do that. So let's slowly rise back up. Again, you can go through the Navasana way, or you can bring the foot to windshield wipers, up to you. So I'm going to come through Navasana since I did that on the left side. Lift up for both, and then slowly drop back to the opposite side. So here you're going to start again, whatever position you're in. Make sure you got space around you, so make sure you're not rolling into the block. So I'm just moving it slightly out of the way so I don't crush into them. And then I think this is the first time we're doing it. I'm also moving my weights, so I don't crush into it. So watch first, and then you can do. We're going to roll, and we're going to make use of our hips here. So you're going to go towards the back. So if right thigh is here, you're going to go all the way to the back here. We're just going to fold first for the first round, and then we're going to roll around, and you will understand here. So we're just going to get our twist working here. So maybe you're more parallel to this side, depending how the hip feel. Maybe you can come down the elbow, so you can join me first in the twist. So I really enjoy this twist because it's a very fast way to release the lower back in towards the mid back here. So you can again adjust the height using blocks first, but make sure you get it out of the way when we start moving here. So once you're here, you're happy, we're going to come back up, and this is where you're going to watch. We are going to roll over onto our side. So coming back here center, we're going to turn over to the back, flip the knee up, go over to your belly, come back, and that's where I said we need space. You are again with the right leg forward. Maybe I've moved totally out of my mat here. Same thing, you're coming back, come onto your belly, knees and thighs together, roll it up. So now you're on the opposite side. So play around, there's no right or wrong. You may knock into something, but we're talking about moving the hips here. So you can go back this same way, and then on the other side, we'll do on the opposite way. So actually, I forgot to say, you should come up all the way towards the front of the mat, shift towards the center before you go. So doesn't matter which way you start. I'm going on the left side. You can always try the right here. It's going to be weirder. Left will be easier because you're going to lift the knee over with you as you flip onto our back. And then same thing as you come up, the knee is going to come up to prepare for a deer pose. So like I said, you have to move. So same thing here. If you want to start on the right, you can go this way, down onto your belly here. Flip up, make sure that knee opens up. You're in deer pose, whichever side. Okay? So left or right, doesn't matter. At the same time, we're warming up the body. We're also using our upper body strength, moving. And I tell you, after a few rounds, you'll feel your breath comes up. So whatever it is, we're interchanging legs, so it doesn't matter which side you start. So if you started on the left, just go anti-clockwise, come onto your belly, plop, you come back up. If you're with right leg forward, you're going clockwise. So are we getting in the head? I also got confused there. So right leg, clockwise, arms to the right, swing onto your belly, flip yourself up. So if you get lost, doesn't matter, I got lost too. Come back. So make sure you do about 3 to 5 rounds, so as you come up, you can feel the hip moving, you're using your chest, your core. And then eventually, after your 5th round, you sort of semi-facing the front. Shift back wherever you are. So if you end up, left in front, doesn't matter. We're going to come to our next drill, which is our 90-90 proper. So if you want, you can come through again, a boat pose. We're going to stack the right shin forward parallel. This time, we are taking our left thigh at the back also parallel. So if you check, it should look 90 degree, both feet flex, and you're turning towards the front here. So this, you will notice the internal rotation here is much larger. You're trying to square off your body to the front, so the more you square, the more this rotate inward. So maybe it will take some time. So some of us, like me, will need to sort of shift the hips to sort of get it used to this angle, because we don't usually use our hip in internal, especially in yoga, most of it's external. So this is nice and comfortable, but not this one, okay? So here again, hands can come on block on the floor. You're going to press that left knee in. If you want, you can even press your own palm onto it to lift the back leg. So the ladies who have never done it before, you'll be like, I can't believe it's not possible. It is. It's just maybe a milliliter up. The more you practice, the more it's going to come up. So if you lean forward, it feels easy. It happens. If you shift yourself back, stack, it doesn't leave. So you'll feel the engagement, especially on the external or the gluteus minimus on the outside, that fires up. You may even cramp. I usually cramp here. So you will want to lean slightly. Most of us, or actually all of us, will lean a bit. But we don't want ourselves to totally fall forward. You can challenge, hands away from the ground, and then push it down. And there, I usually cramp if I go hands free. So here, it doesn't matter where you're facing. You can face diagonal. And then try your best to lift like 5 times before you cramp. And then after that, we're pressing the foot down and lift the knee up. So coming in towards an internal, external rotation. So you press the feet down, only the knee move. And this will differ from person to person. So if you're off tighter, maybe you lift up here. But over time, if you keep doing more drills, you will notice this will happen more and more. And it will give you the mobility. So this is mobility. How much you can move, your range of motion will change, and all this will be good for your hip mobility overall. So we strengthen earlier on, and usually in yoga we do lots of opening. We don't strengthen as much. So this is great for that. And then once you finish that, you're going to turn back towards the front now. Inhale, and we're going to lift this entire front leg up. So what's going to do most of the time, people will lift up the knee and then lift up the foot. We don't want that. You want to lift this as a whole entity, like a log together. So you may not happen, but at least in your head, you're trying your best. You can have your hands down and then push down to lift the leg up like a log and come down together as best as you can. Knee and ankle touch down or heel touch down. So don't lift it like this and lift it like this. You won't feel. If you do it this way, you're going to feel it on that side of your butt. So sitting up nice and tall, do 5 rounds, lift and come down as best as you can. See there, my heel touched down first. So maybe making the effort to try to really extend and rotate so that it lands like a block. Okay? So tomorrow you're going to feel it in your hips here, which means, we work them. So that's always a good sign. So 5 rounds, and then we'll move to the other side. So slowly we're going to square off and then round down, release out that hip there. You're going to feel maximum. Again, you can come now, elbow, hands, or a block for an intermediary height that suits you. So give it a rest here. Feel that right hip just screaming at you, giving you feedback. Just take it again. No criticism, no judgment. If this is your first time, the first time is the worst. I've seen ladies doing the drills and going, there's no way. It's no way I can do that. But slowly and surely, at least now you've tried. Now slowly work your way up we're going to change sides. So again, you can do the fancy way of swinging the leg front, board, square, square. Okay? So we make it all the way back. Doesn't matter how you get here as long you are here. So once you're here, try your best. So as I said, my right hip doesn't like the internal rotation. So I usually need to sort of coax it into it. So sort of working in the muscles, the connective tissues are the problem. They are harder to get to. Your muscles warm up fast and stretch. So just make any movement till you feel you're ready, and then we'll start the drill on the back. So again, knee, flex, flex, press up so you can press into your fingertips, hand, and see if you can lift up a bit. So this side is my weaker side. So maybe you can start the first two with hands down, and then maybe try and see, see the hands go. It's just tough. But it's definitely improved for me. It used to be like 2 millimeter. Now I think I can see a gap. Yeah, I can see a gap. I can feel a gap. So again, 5 to 10 times if you're adventurous and you feel like, oh, this is doing me good, do more. And then once you're ready, the opposite way. So pressing down on the left outer sole, no, right outer sole, knee up. So you will notice each side might be different. So my left is more open. I can lift it up higher. This one is lower down. Again, no judgment, just an observation. We're all built differently. Even your own body sides are built differently. So about 5 rounds here. Don't forget to keep flexing into your feet. And after that, give the back one a rest as we turn towards the front here. So remember the log, we're lifting this leg up. So again, you can always have the support first for the first round. Really flex, engage, pull that leg bone in towards the knee socket here, and then lift. And then lower. So I can feel my back hip even seizing up when I'm trying to do that. So it's not just the engagement of the front muscle. Again, everybody will have a slightly different engagement firing up. So hopefully the more you do this, your muscle memory. So 5 times. So this side is not as great as the other side because my right seized up because of that. I have no idea why. So finishing up the last one. And then slowly square yourself off as we fold all the way down. Next, we'll do some stretch, and then we'll do the next set of drill. So like I said, hips is drill, and then we'll come up to stand and work on strengthening in towards the hips and also in towards your legs here. So give yourself a rest here. Feel the left hip. Maybe you feel the right hip in the internal rotation. It feels weird. Like I said again, if you think of all the poses in yoga, there's really nothing other than maybe eagle, constructive rest most of the time, or actually 99% of the poses are hips in external rotation. So we need to move it in both ways to keep them healthier. Now slowly make your way up, and then let's swing the leg forward, give it a shake, release out all the tension. I've got tons of that legs here. And then inhale, come up straight, and then exhale, just let yourself fall down. Feel a nice stretch down that past the glutes here, because we really work the hips hard. Just let yourself round. This is nothing special, just a release. So we're not trying to like really lengthen out the hamstring, just giving the back line of your body a nice stretch here. Now slowly on your inhale, roll yourself back up. And let's come into a cross leg. So we really want to cross our leg proper. So make sure it's crossed. Flex in towards your feet. Make sure the outer sole is pressing against your mat. You can do this with blocks. You can do this hands-free. So maybe let's do it together, everybody with blocks. Just see how it is. You can use momentum. You can use your block. We're going to come up to stand, and this will be all your hip, your glutes, your legs muscle firing up. So high or low, press yourself up. Just notice how it feels. So we're not coming up first, we're just doing lift. So maybe the first feel like, okay, I can do this. So hands free, lift. So you feel your up to your knee muscles will be firing up, down the thighs, the hips, lift again. It doesn't need to be much, even just a hinge that you can maybe hold even for a second, come back down. This is all great for hips. So if you're not at that stage, use this. So every time you come up, just be light on the hand more and more. You're still engaging into your hips here if you're even so doing. So you can always lower it down, maybe start doing fingertips only. So your fingertips takes it, but you're not going to put a lot of weight. So you sort of progress step by step. So there are dozens of stages for you to go, and then maybe without the blocks, and then eventually come up and lift. So all this is great for firing up the legs and the hips here. Okay? So next step is to come up to stand. But before that, we'll do the other side. So we equalize both of the hips here. So cross the opposite way. So this way, which is not your favorite way, whichever it is not going to be easy. So it's actually going to be more difficult. So same thing, you can start with the blocks, press yourself up, and then eventually work to lifting, holding. Surprisingly, this side was better, even though I thought this is my weaker side. So sometimes you'll find out things that will surprise you. So I'm going to feel it right in my hip here. A few more rounds, and then we're going to try to come up to stand. So let's try. If it doesn't happen, if you fall, just laugh it, you know. It's always good to have a laugh. You use your core. So come back to the other side. If you're ready, then try to stand. Okay? So you can use momentum. You can use your hands on the block. So say you're using momentum and blocks. Push yourself up. Once you come here, you are stand. Come back down, lower. So a few rounds of this, you're going to feel yourself firing up. So you can do it hands-free. You can start off with hands down, up to here. Use your hip muscle, come up to stand. Lower, so at least do 5 rounds here. So maybe eventually you can do this without hands. So you're going to feel it all down the legs. That's why hips, hooray, legs and hooray. So I'm already tired by here, and we still got the other side to do. This is really great to test your strength, your mobility, because there's always say, you see it on TikTok or internet, whether, what's your age of your physical body, is you can get up without help. This is strengthening all those that we need to keep ourselves youthful. So let's do the opposite side. So maybe the opposite side will be a whole different ball game. So again, you can use your momentum or the strength of your hips. Lift, come up to stand, come down. So if you're practicing still lifting and you're not up, there's a stage of standing up. Absolutely fine. Just continue and do here. This is also great because you're also strengthening your arm. You're strengthening now your hips at the same time. So whichever stage, maybe you come up to here and you're like, I can't stand up. That's fine. Come back down. What you feel is the firing of the hips. So whether you're standing, come down. And let's finish the last one. And then we windshield wiper and let these hips rest. So once you're down, fire up, release. You should feel it down the legs, down the hips here. So wherever you are, let's cross your legs, come into child's pose. So let's stretch out the hips a bit. Knees nice and wide, toes together, walk your palms forward, rest your forehead down. So spend quite a few breaths here to notice how the hips sit. Maybe feel some pulsation, throbbing, the hips working hard. That's exactly what I want to hear. Because we are targeting the hips. If you feel nothing there, then something's really wrong. So you should feel lots of sensation there. Hips, glutes, legs, thighs, all that. And at least your heart rate was up from just trying to lift yourself up to stand. Or wherever you get. One more breath here. Now slowly on your next inhale, walk your hands forward. Open out your feet wide. We're coming to the back of the mat. If you wish, you can bring a block along with you. You are in Malasana. So Malasana, depending, some of us, hips, you can't get into here. You can lower the block down and have a sit. So then you're nice and supported. You can press, open up, and you're still getting the same effect if you're just holding without the block in Malasana. So they always say spend 5-10 minutes doing this. Great for everything. And just slow down your breath back again, whether you're sitting. So I'm giving myself time off, so I'm going to enjoy the block because I can lift my spine much higher than when I think down. I used to be like this. I could feel that now my hips are stronger. I can lift myself much more vertical. So that's the change I've seen in myself. And only in this past year, having practiced yoga for so long. So wherever you are, sitting up nice and tall, even here in the supported version is so good for your body. The hips, the thighs, the inner hip crease, and your spine. So close your eyes, just notice what's going on in the hips here. We've worked it. We're going to continue to do some more drills in the front. Get some move here, sort of rinse out first before we go on to the next drill. So we're going to warm up our hips also. Now slowly blink your eyes open. If you got your block, removed it. Let's come on to tabletop. Once you're in tabletop here, we arrive here really late in a cat-cow. So roll out the spine, any movement that feels good. Maybe you sort of get tension elsewhere because the hips usually are not people's favorite exercise. So you're going to draw some tension and just build it up somewhere else. So release it here in your cat and cow. And then we're going to do more hips drill here. So walk your knees slightly towards the center. We're going to inhale, kick the right leg back. Let's tuck the right toes under, shift it in towards your calf. So preparing your calves, maybe like me, you're still feeling the effect from Tuesday's class. So my calves are really worked hard there. So I could feel it really nice being stretched here. Once you have enough, bring the right knee in. Keep it hovering like you're putting it down, but you're not quite putting it down. So it's slightly above. So you're going to do some fire hydrants here. Flex into the right foot. Gently open up to the side. Doesn't need to be a lot. Just enough that it's away from the right knee or left knee, and then you tap it back. So about 5 rounds here. So this is a good hip exercise. You should feel it on the glutes here. And then on your last one, as you open up, you're going to karate chop, kick the right leg up high. Exhale, gently release the right foot down, and then let's sink down to stretch in towards that right hip here. Back toes can be tugged or untugged. You can feel the release. So usually there, when I kick it out, my glute cease and almost like I'm going to give you a cramp. So this one, when I stretch back, it sort of release it quite a bit here. That feels nice. Nice deep breath. Now on your next inhale, come back, restack yourself. We're going to swing the right leg and tap it over to the left. Maybe look over if that feels good on your side body here. And then you're going to bring it back to center. Bring the right knee in again like in a hover. Make sure you don't have a block in the way. We're going to step this foot whichever way you want. You can use maximum effort, minimum effort, and see just where it drops. So step it through to the outside. If that's where it lands, sink it through. Right knee pushes where the feet is. So don't go wider, narrower, exactly in the same direction your foot. So same thing, lift it, swing it back all the way, tap. Maybe this time you use some momentum. You can always use your momentum by pushing back and then swing. Maybe this time you get it further and then just sink it through. So a few rounds like this, you can play with minimum effort, momentum, maximum effort, and then see where that hip takes your foot to. So sink. So that feels good. Open out in towards the hips here. Make sure your hand stays exactly where you are as you swing a few more times like this. So you can work into the side body, add a sort of a side body bend before you take the leg forward in this really wide-legged Anjayasana style. And we're going to finish one last time all together with our legs in the front in this wide-legged lunge or wide-angle lunge. So you're here, sink it all the way down. You can play with shifting the hips, moving it, whatever direction feels good, as long as it feels good in that right hip here. And then we're going to shift our hips back in towards a sort of a half splits, but we want our foot to be down so that we stretch into the front ankle. So let's shift the hips back. Press the foot down. Maybe your leg is not straight and it's slightly bent, doesn't matter. If it's straightened, that's fine too. You're going to press the foot down. You can feel that arch coming out and almost a cramp on my foot there. So again, it depends, not the usual thing we would do, but you feel a nice lengthening in the front of the leg. And then slowly we're going to swing it back all the way. So let's re-bend it first. Push off the right foot, press into your palm. Let's swing the left leg behind you. So keep it bent this time. You're going to tap it to the outside of your left knee. Turn that left foot away so it becomes like a V shape behind you. And let's walk all the way back in towards Gomukhasana. So feeling that stretch here in the hips. Once you settle down, open up your feet nice and wide. Make sure your sit bones is down. And then it's up to you here what you want to do, whether you want to do a eagle, you want to do a Gomukhasana, or just fold to enjoy this stretch here. So it's more about the hips than the upper body, but if you want to do something with the upper body, go ahead. So we're just going to hold here for a few breaths just to stretch in towards the hip here that we've just worked on. So slow everything back down. Just draw your attention to your breath, to your hips. So you will make your hips work really hard today. And then we'll come up to stand to sort of release out the tension, a bit of strengthening of the legs. And then we will have our rest. Now slowly come back through. You're going to hop off your hips, so maybe making use of what we were doing earlier on to strengthen out the hips, whether you can just push yourself off and then just land your palms back where you were. Release the legs out. Place the right knee next to the left, maybe cat-cow if you manage to come up without your hands. If you're not, hands absolutely fine. So let's move over to the left side. So you're going to extend the left leg, tuck the toes, shift the weight back, stretch the calves. So my left calf feels really tighter here. So it's really nice to have it a stretch. And then you're going to lift it up, bring the knee back in. So remember, you're bringing it in towards a hover. And then fire hydrant it out, flex into the left foot. Doesn't matter how wide or how high you get the knee up. And then remember, on the last one, we're going to karate chop it out. So you're going to open it up, kick the left leg out, and then slowly, release that down. Should feel my right hip really working hard there. So start shifting forward and back. Just releasing in towards the inner thigh a bit. Really press in towards the foot here. And then we're going to do that wide-legged lunge version. So once you're ready, you're going to press into your palm, lift the left leg, swing it all the way to the right, maybe add a side bend here if that feels good. So if it feels good, do it since you're here. And then let's, again, minimum effort, see if you can step it forward, sink, and do whatever feels good here. So if you want to hold longer before you move your legs to the back, swing it forward. Again, using momentum, maximum effort, minimum effort, no right or wrong, just what feels good here so you can get in towards the hips. Moving with your breath, just feel into it. Listen to your body, listen to your breath here. Maybe on your last one, see you can do a big momentum, no difference. Maybe you see a difference, maybe not. And then sink in towards the hip. Make sure the knee is going the same direction as your foot, keeping your knee safe. Again, like Magdalene, she's smart. She knows her knee is sensitive, so she padded it. So that's always a great way. So modify to what you need. And then we're going to shift our hips back for this funny house splits, either with the legs straight or slightly bent. Really press the front of the foot down. Feel that nice stretch here. So weirdly, the left side is more willing to be stretched than my right. So my body is just weird. It swings from left to right. It's no one side is this or only this side is this. It's all over the place. So one more breath here, and then we Gomukhasana at the back. So remember, you're going to re-bend in towards the left knee. Push off it to swing the leg all the way to behind you, but this time with the leg bend. So have the knee come outside the right knee. Turn the right leg in towards like a V shape, and then slowly walk yourself towards the back as you sit down in towards Gomukhasana. So give the hips a shake, make sure they're both grounded, and then go the version you wish. If you did the eagle, continue, or just a fold to feel the release in the lower back up towards the glutes here, which feels really good. Shoulders away from the neck, from the ears. It's nice and long, so no point doing this squeezing and rounding. So back is flat. So always notice like there's somebody pushing in towards your middle back between your shoulder blades, that your chest slightly comes front. So you maintain a flat back, shoulders down and away. Breathing. So the more you do and more reminder, you will notice the change in your body, because you will remember like, oh no, I'm doing this or I'm not doing that. And slowly it becomes a habit, it becomes a muscle memory. But of course, there are some things that's really hard to change. So like for me, is the tension in the shoulders, the rounding my shoulders forward. So that will take decades more before I can get away from that. Now slowly we're going to come up. So use your hip power. If not, just push yourself up and see if you can get your way back towards the front of mat, in towards your tabletop. Release out the left leg next to your right knee. Cat cow, one more time. And then you're going to walk your palms forward. First downward facing dog. Lifting up, pad out your legs. Notice how the legs feel. Immediately we're going to slowly walk up towards the front of the mat. And then inhale, slowly roll up to stand. So we're going to do some legs drills and then we will have a short cool down. So we're slowing down. Let's shift the weight over to the left. So pull the leg bone in towards your hip socket. So lift it up. So your right foot is off the ground. So we're just going to swing. If you're not stable, come to a wall or somewhere where you can hold. This is really nice to release out the tension we built up in the hip, in the leg joint. Cat, make sure you don't come away because you're going to get kicked. So you can make big movements, small movement. Don't fall or swing it so much that you fall. And then slowly you're going to swing it back to the back. And then push front, kick back, push front. Just maintaining your balance, working on the legs. And then come back for one last swing, and then we'll go towards the left side. So I really enjoy that because it just releases all the tension. So again, make sure you're nice and grounded, maybe hold a wall or something. And then let's swing out the left leg. So my right side balance is not as great, so you may see me topple, just come back, or just don't swing as hard. But sometimes I can't help myself because it's such a nice release in that leg, that hip joint. See, I'm going to fall. And then once you have enough of that, you're going to kick it all the way back. Push back. You can even heel up. Oh, don't fall. Come back, swing, and then go back. So sort of balance here, swing, balance here, and swing. And then give it one last swing. And then straight away, we're going to give it a nice shake. We're going to open up in towards a wide-legged position here. So feet, toes slightly pigeon in, hands on your waist. Inhale to open up your chest. Exhale, we're just going to fall down. Nice deep breath here. Let yourself lean forward. Maybe have your blocks, maybe just hand on your waist. Doesn't matter how deep you go here. Nice deep breath. And then inhale, bend into your knees, slowly roll up. Again, legs here. So we're going to shift to the left. So you're going to play around, hop off, squeeze the right knee in. Legs. Go back, hop, over to the other side. Ooh. Okay, there you go. Squeeze. You can even squeeze it in. Maybe don't be so adventurous. Make your wide-legged neck not so wide so that you can sort of bounce off. Ooh, even not wide. Maintain your balance. So here you're using hips, you're using balance, you're using your legs. Go back, swing, and then kick it off when you're ready. It's not good this time. So we're all human. And see if we can raise off, find a juice to look at, move with your breath. So it's all about strength. Lift up, nice and balanced. Give it a squeeze. Come back. And then come and give it a squeeze. Okay? So once you finish your last one, I need to do one on this side. And then balance yourself up. So my right side is really not great. And then slowly release, come back towards the front. Give it a shake up. Let's inhale, arms over your head. Exhale, coming into your forward fold. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. So here you can always take up your block here, maybe under your shoulders. We're going to work into a warrior 3. Press into your right foot. Shift your weight towards your right. Inhale, left leg's going to swing up. Keep it nice and parallel. Nice deep breath here. Now inhale, gentle bend your right knee. Squeeze yourself up. Feel that right glutes fire up. So quite similar to the one that we lift off. So same thing. Kick it back. Land your hand nice and gently on the block. So 2 more times like this. And it will be the last one, I swear. Kick it back. So feel that right leg, right glute flying up. And then exhale, gently release. Come back through center. Release the left leg down, give it a shake. Left side now, so ground down, inhale, you can squeeze your leg back, swing it back in towards your warrior three. So maybe center your block under, push off, use your glutes, come back, kick off, come back. So maybe concentrate your breath, much better this time for me. And then slowly finish up your last one, come back up. So this is a really great drill if you're trying to strengthen out your leg, your balance also. Now slowly come in towards your chair and let's slowly lower all the way down. Same thing, we're using the hips. See if you come for hover before you land your hips down. Open up, Baddha Konasana, blocks away. Give your hips a shake. And then slowly inhale, lengthen. Exhale, we fold. Give yourself a shake. Slowing everything back down after that little leg. So we're not forcing ourselves too much. We've already done a lot if you notice with the time. Now inhale, slowly rise back up. Close your knees and lower onto your back. Bring a block with you by your side as you hug your thighs in towards your chest. Gently rock side to side. Release your exhale. Notice how the hips, the legs feel. And let's release the left leg down. Let's cross the right knee on top of your left like you're coming to Gomukhasana. Lift the thighs up. Catch hold anywhere along your leg. Maybe it's your ankle, your calf, or maybe your outer sole. So play around with opening, closing, maybe nice for the hip. You can bring the knees away, give a nice stretch. Any movement here that feels good before we come into a spinal twist. So notice how the hips is. So my right hip feels really sore at this point. Not just from today, but from the other days that we work hard. So now slowly you're going to let the knees drop over to the left. Right arm extend in towards your spinal twist here. Left arm can stay on top of the right knee. And then guide the right shoulder blade pressing down. And feel the nice twist releasing in towards your lower back here. Slowing down. Now slowly come back through center, release your cross. Let's change sides. So left knee is going to cross over the right. Catch hold again. You can hug your calf in, your ankle, your feet. Doesn't matter where, you can hold. And then just roll side to side or squeeze and bring the legs in. So you're holding onto your legs like bicycle handlebars. You can roll it away if that feels good. So that's a nice stretch in towards your quad if you pull your knee towards the ground away from you. Any movement that feels good here. And then we're going to slowly release knees over to the right for your spinal twist. Right hand on top of that knee, ground down through your left shoulder blade. Maybe look towards your left fingertips if it feels comfortable for your neck here. Feel the length here, opening on the left ribs, left armpit, all the way up towards your left fingertips. The more you squeeze the thighs in towards your chest, the deeper the twist it is, the further away. And then, of course, you have more space along your belly. One more breath here. Now slowly inhale, bring your knees back to center, sort of coming back into towards a bridge pose where it all started. So feet about hips width, maybe this time slightly away. Catch hold of your block here as you inhale, lift your hips. I would suggest for you to use the lowest height. So just slip the block under your sacrum, so make sure you're nice and supported here and let your hips drop down. Let your feet ground here and then palms open up towards the ceiling in this supported bridge. So feel the release of that lower back. So sometimes when we have tight hips, it sort of refer up in towards the lower back. So sometimes you think you have a lower back issue. It could be due to a referred sensation that's from a tighter hip. But of course, we can't say that all lower back is because of your hips. It's really individual. That's why it's really difficult for a doctors, physio to diagnose certain issues. So this is one of the things that is useful, that if you are more aware of your own body, the more you can help them to diagnose if you ever get a problem. So here you can either stay and support the bridge, or you can lift your legs up. Give everything a shake, including your wrists, release any tension. Most important to have your legs above your heart here. So roll out the ankles, flick out your fingers, roll out your toes, flex and point, whatever feels good. Now slowly lower your knees or legs back down, press into your feet and inhale, lift up the blocks away as you lower your whole back down. Squeeze your thighs into your chest, give yourself a little roll before releasing to Shavasana. Take up space, let your body be heavy and relaxed. There's nothing else to do except for a well-deserved rest. So you're welcome to stay here for longer, especially we've done so much. We've been on the mat, we've up to stand, we swing our legs, we swing our bodies, we roll around the mat. We've just worked our body, the hips, the legs. But if you're ready to get on with the rest of the day, join me in front of the mat in a nice comfortable sit. Palms on your knees, let's roll out your neck, your shoulders, whatever that feels good here. Bring your right palm in towards your chest, your left palm on top, and then bow to yourself again for enduring this practice with me. I hope you enjoy, and I hope to see you tomorrow for class. Namaste. Thank you, ladies. I hope the hips will feel okay tomorrow. We'll do some nice yin. Have a good day. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.